Star Wars Episode 2, Attack the Clones. So continuing on with the rest of the prequel trilogy, the next chapter would be Episode 2. Now, a lot of people view this as the worst of the prequels, but I say it's where it should be, in the middle. It's not terrible, but it's not great. There's definitely things in there that are fine where they are, and there's things that aren't. The whole battle on Geonosis was handled very well, as well as a lot of the scenes on Kamino. But there's stuff that really didn't work, like Anakin and Padme on Naboo. Especially the famous sand line. It just doesn't work at all. Yeah, basically all the scenes where it's Anakin and Padme talking about how much they love each other, those scenes just don't work at all. The backstory with Qui-Gon and Count Dooku is very interesting, and we don't really get much of that, but it's all woven through Obi-Wan's story, which is kind of the most interesting part of the film. One of the biggest problems that can be found with this film is the editing. Of course, the editing and the pacing. The film feels uneven and lacks direction. You can see the seeds of Anakin growing into the man that he will become, spread throughout all the Tatooine scenes in the film. And really one of the most dramatical scenes you will find is when Anakin goes to the village with the Tusken Raiders and he finds his mum. She's broken, and I guess you'd say that she's beyond the point of return. You can't really see her coming back from where she is. As she's lying down there facing Anakin, you can see that these are her final moments, and she struggles to say her final words. You can see the pain wash over Anakin's face. Once that scene's over, you feel deprived of what could have been an amazing sequence. That scene is too short and needs more to it. We see a small section of what it could have been a longer scene. What you could have had was the rampage that Anakin takes after he leaves the hut, pulls out his lightsaber and starts chopping down Tusken Raiders as he goes. We only saw him kill 2, but we could have seen more carnage, and then that would have led into the next scene with him saying that he killed them. You could see the pain and the struggle that he goes through. You can see that this film could have done better with someone else writing it. Yes, George is very good at setting up the basic story, but he can't write dialogue. You can't really care about the relationship between Anakin and Padme if it's not convincing. Directors like John Hughes know how to write that sort of dialogue, and it's a shame that George had to write his own. It's a shame that Lawrence Kasdan wasn't there to rewrite any of the stuff that George wrote. But really, the film suffers from poor script writing. The worlds feel much more rounded out than they did in Phantom Menace. But the characters and the actors struggle along with a story that doesn't really go anywhere. Yes, we get this relationship between these two people that really you don't feel like you care about it all. And then you get to the end fight sequence where Anakin rushes in, gets his hand cut off, then he has to get Yoda to save him. Then you change the characterization of Yoda from a man who doesn't fight, which was in Empire Strikes Back, to a man that does. So people see Yoda as more methodical. But when he enters Attack the Clones, he becomes, I don't know, just one of your basic Jedis. I know what George was going for. I could see that what he wanted was to show Yoda's previous apprentice in Count Dooku struggling to fight his old apprentice. But really, it just doesn't play very well. And it consists of Yoda literally bouncing off the walls and then basically getting to a pissing contest. The problem with Attack of the Clones is they set up a character like Jango Fett and then kill him within that movie. They don't leave him open-ended so that he can come back in the next film and be a formidable foe. He's introduced with the clone army, and they also introduce his son Boba, who we later see in other films. But he's just killed off by Mace Windu. He really doesn't have many scenes, or really doesn't get the growth that he should. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes of the film, not letting the characters have much growth. Basically what I want to say is I've come to accept the prequels, but I just can't look past the flaws really, and how they have the potential to be such better films, but then they just fall off. I'd say this film's around 6.7 out of 10. But really, it should be more than that. It's definitely not what Empire Strikes Back was, which was the second and darker chapter to what is an amazing saga.